So Olodo uprising has been trending for the past couple of days. But let's talk about the real Olodos, the guys developing football in Africa. See, the government in Africa to their Olodos, but let's focus on the guys developing football in Africa. These guys, they are the real dummies, right? Money meant to be used to develop football in Africa. You guys are pocketing the money. But these guys, some of these players, right, manage to find their way to Europe, and they become, crazy talents. Some of them are even playing for European countries. The real dumb is the real Olodo uprising are the ones developing football in Africa. African football, it's a shame that an African team has not won the World Cup yet in 2026. African football has gone really, really far. There was this era where South America is where you go and pick talents. Now it is Africa. The top footballers in the world, right? Majority of them have African descent. Almost all of them. But guess what? Football development is shit in Africa. We don't have proper grassroots football development. We don't have proper academies that will nurture talent, make them go to school, nurture them properly, build these boys, give them what they need, identify this potential very, very early. Do you think it's a coincidence like Yan Diomande left Cote d'Ivoire within a couple of years after leaving Ivory Coast? This guy is worth over 100 million. Imagine if Ivory Coast have proper, football academies that that will nurture these talents. They have a proper league whereby players can even play in that league and showcase their talents. Where clubs can identify these players quite early, know what the potential is, and charge the proper amount for these players before you export them to Europe. But you know what? These European teams will come here to scout these players for a very, very, very cheap price. The same way they always come to pack our raw materials here for a very, very cheap price. By our government just giving them, they use it to build their place. They come here, they take our talent for a very, very cheap price because we can't even identify them. We can't grow this talent. We don't even know what potential these guys have. We just sell them because they just offer 1 million. Yeah, 1 million. Yeah. Before you know, after 3 years, that same player is worth 90 million. Because what you guys cannot do, them they will do it, right? They will nurture that talent and they will sell it for crazy money. Johanna, that Nigerian guy that was sold to Brighton. This guy was playing in Nigeria 2 years ago. 2 years ago was still in Nigeria, playing in the streets, just in academy. An agent came from Sweden. She immediately say, "Oh boy, this boy not talent. Carrying him." They paid that team 900,000. Within 1 year, that same player 25 million to Brighton. I'm sure within 2-3 years, that same player will be worth 80 million. But guess what? In Nigeria, we don't have the proper development. We don't see these things. We are letting money pass us by. That's what South America, that's what they tap in very, very, very early. They identify their talent. Do you know how much they sold Neymar? 70 million, 80 million. That's what they sell. Do you know how much they sold Estaval? Do you know how much they sold Hendrick? 60 million. Like, they are selling players, their future, their potentials, right? For the right price. When have we ever sold any player from an African team in Africa for, let's say, 20 million pounds? Has it ever happened? They don't bring 2 million, we go collect them now. If you identify, we know what the potential of the player is. If you identify talent, African people developing football in Africa needs to rise up and wake up. You guys are eating peanuts, right? Because you don't want to do the work, you just embezzle peanuts. But you are letting big money, pass you by. Let's just assume that it's money that is the motivation for you guys. The money you are eating is peanuts compared to what you will get if you actually properly develop football in Africa. It's a win-win situation. The talents are identified. These young talents, right, have more platform to play. A lot of people showcase yourself, right? They get their dreams achieved easily, and you're going to make a lot of money. That is what is happening in South America. Now Africa is where the talent is. You guys need to tap up to this early, ASAP. Identify this talent early. Know what this potential of this player is. Know what this player is could properly worth, right? It's when you develop a player properly to a certain level, you can even identify, okay, this is the potential of this player. This is what this player will worth. This is what we can get for him. Because now teams are charging, they are selling players not just by what the player is worth at the moment. For they charge players, teams based on what the player could become. So that's why you see a 21-year-old going for 80 million, 70 million. But in Africa, when they come to pick our own 17, 18-year-old, they pay 1 million, pay 2 million because we cannot even identify this talent. Africa needs to wake up. I keep saying this thing. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. Africa uprising. Olodo uprising needs to die. Our government uprising of Olodo needs to stop. You guys are embezzling peanuts and letting big money pass you by because you are refusing to do the work. People that are ready to do the work are doing the work, are getting these raw talents from here, and they are shaping them into proper, players within a short period of time. Hamad Diallo left Côte d'Ivoire, right? He left Côte d'Ivoire within 2 years. He was sold to Manchester United for 30 million. Yakubu Minteh, do you know how much Brighton took him for? Now, Newcastle took him for. They sold him for Brighton for 30 million. Now, Brighton will sell that same player for 60 million. These are players that are worth millions and millions and millions. But we are not building this thing. We don't have where these players showcase talent. There are tons and plenty like that in Africa. Africa, rise up.